What's going on, boys? I want to talk a little bit about why I'm working out, why I'm still working out, even though I have a girl, and also what I'm doing right now. Okay, so the program I'm on currently. So, first of all, for those of you who don't know, I was 160 pounds. I was like this skinny, tall dude. I'm 6'2", and I was bullied by girls. Okay, I was bullied by girls and guys. And then when I did have a girlfriend, it stung pretty bad in high school because they didn't want to be with me. And I think any guy can relate to the rejection that, you're with a beautiful girl and then all of a sudden they're like, we don't want you anymore. And a lot of times there was other guys trying to come in and take my girlfriend. And so that's frustrating because now I have a beef with guys. And so, and even in these videos here, like I'm trying to help guys now. And so I've kind of grown up out of all of that. But the biggest thing was like, in college, I didn't really care too much about working out, but I started to see the guys that like, it's like seeing a cool car. It's like, I want that cool car. Like, not that you're being jealous about it, but you're like, I see myself having something cool like that. I want to have that too. And so therefore you start making steps towards that, if that makes sense. So my biggest thing was like, in college, I was just trying to get through school. And then I was like, well, I just have a girlfriend and it was hard because I had to learn what's called a cold approach. You just go up and talk to random strangers. I really had to hone in on my social skills. I was an introvert, still am, but I had to push myself really hard to be an extrovert in every situation I was at, to be fun, flirty, that kind of thing, to be able to get anywhere. And I tell you what, that charisma and the being able to just free flow has completely changed my life. Now, I no longer do that anymore because I have a girlfriend now, but for sure, I was learning all those skills. And for the longest time, I feel like it got me in a trap loop where it was like, well, it's actually fun to just go from one person to the next, just talking to them instead of like making any meaningful connections because I was afraid of that rejection. And so I started working out at the end of 2019. Well, it was kind of like the summer of 2019. It was it was one semester before I was going to graduate. So in the summer of 2019, I started working out, and not just running, because that used to be what I did. I would run, I'd give people like girls high fives up there, just give that good positive energy. I was like, well, I can't compete with guys in the bodybuilder world down there. That's not for me, but I can like talk to girls up here and like be myself. And there's no guys up here, so I have no competition. And so I always went where there was no competition, like even talking to people, like strangers in the real world, just out and about. No guy was doing that. And if they were, they're being creepy and weird. And so I was like, well, I need to start changing how I look, right? To start looking like more of that muscle car that, I liked and I saw. It's like, how do we want to get there? And so I started eating like crazy because it's like ectomorph problems where like, guys, it's hard for me to put on any sort of weight because my thyroid is literally a 0.4. And if you guys don't know what that means, that basically means that like I can eat like crazy and just burn it off. Like I can have a whole pizza and my metabolism is just so high. I'm like more shredded in the morning. And my girl hates that, but it's so funny because it's like I have to eat more. And I don't want to like lose that metabolism because I know that, as you get older, your metabolism gets, lower. But right now it's like almost on the verge of like hyperthyroidism. And honestly, it's kind of cool. But at the same time, like everything in balance, right? So I started working out. I started bench pressing. Guys, I couldn't even do 10s on each side. And I've worked up well past 225. So that's 245s on each side. And it's been quite the deal. I tell you what, when I first stepped into the gym, I was like, this is not for me. This is not the place I need to be. But guys, I was tired of being the weak little kid. I was tired of having that weak mindset of like, I don't feel like I belong here. All these guys who are more jacked, who are cooler than me, are going to take my girl. I hated that feeling. And think about it now. Even if you had a family right now and you're not in the best shape of your life right now, what are you going to feel like? Do you feel like the man, or does she feel like the man? Does she respect you? When you say something, is it like, oh yeah, no, we're going to do it my way? Or is she like, yeah, I respect that decision? Because you come from a place of authority, not just because of how you look, but because how you carry yourself and the confidence that it brings. So that's what I've learned. And so for me, I no longer go to the gym just to go get attention from girls and to be like, yeah, look how cool my muscles are or whatever. Like, it's not really about that anymore. And it used to be, guys. I'm gonna be dead serious. That's what it was about. I remember I even made a video, and maybe I can post it here at some point, where it's like I am who I am, even if I don't have any muscles. Girls still like me, and that was the biggest thing. We all want love, guys. We all want it. We all want to be loved by other people, by our friends and our family, and most of all, our loved ones that are the most close to us, whether that be your wife, your kids. And so to feel like a failure and rejected kind of hurts a lot. You know what I mean? And I really didn't realize this till I really started to think about it. I'm like, why did I do all that? And so for now, well, now what I'm doing is, guys, I work out because I help you guys, but not just that. I have to continue to do this because I feel amazing as a man. Otherwise, I'm going to feel like I lost myself. Like, if I quit going to the gym, I'll be like, who is this guy? Like, he gave up on himself. He quit on himself. So I'm doing it for myself, but I'm also doing it for my girl. Okay? If I can't protect her, guess some other guy is. And you have to think of it that way. You really do. A lot of times guys are like, well, I made it. I'm at the top of the hill. I love the quote that says, the wolf at the top of the hill is not as hungry as the one that's climbing the hill. So the one who's behind you, you know, somebody used to tell me that, like, there's always another guy around the corner. There's always another guy trying to get your girl or whatever. Okay. And that should keep you motivated and on fire. And so for me, it's like, I need to stay in shape for her. I need to stay in shape for future kids and to protect her from this world. Guys, there's a lot going on in the world that's bad. Just take a look around. And so to be able to be the man in your family is huge, and you're going to feel amazing. And if you don't feel that way already, I really urge you to get into the gym. And maybe you're not super skinny, but you're on the other spectrum, and you have a little bit too much weight that you need to lose, because she's not respecting you for that. And deep down, she's like telling her friends, guys, I know this because I've had girls tell me this. They're like, yeah, I'm not really that into him, but, you know, I have to be with him because, you know, he's my husband or whatever. I'm like, wow, that's horrible. Because those are the stories that you hear. And it's like, I want to take those lessons and call it like a lessons learned here and be like, I'm not going to be that way. I'm going to continue to be the best man I can be in and outside of the gym. And guys, there's this mispreconception that you need to be at the gym for 3+ hours. Guys, I'm at the gym for like an hour these days because I've learned to literally make the most effective workout possible. I even have I don't know if you can see it, I have a treadmill literally right there in case, you know, I can't make it to do some steps or cardio or whatnot. There is no excuse never to do anything. You can be like doing your work while like on the treadmill. I took a treadmill to work so I could like do some walking while working, so I can continue to hit my goals. And like Ed Milet says, to make those promises you made to yourself, because you're going to feel amazing when you do. Otherwise, you're just going to be like, well, that's another promise I just didn't do. And the cycle of just like not being confident just completely drains you. And I tell you what, all that mentalness translates into physicalness. And so your body will follow your mind, and it just gets crazy. You start cycling out of control. Maybe you can't regulate your emotions. And this is why I think guys go crazy, because they've had enough and they finally boiled out. The volcano has just exploded and they're like, well, I'm done with all this. You know, maybe their girl isn't listening to them. Maybe their communication skills aren't good. And so when it comes to self-development, guys, one of the biggest things I've just really learned and been socially aware of is, yes, the gym is great, but it's also important to learn your good communication skills with your girl, with your family, and to just continue to be the best version you can, and seek out, you know, good people. You know, I told my girl, I was like, look, we need more friends. And I don't really want just random friends. I don't want single friends. Like, I don't want her just to have a bunch of guy friends that are single. That's weird, right? That's not what's going down here. I'm not going to have a bunch of girls that are single as friends. That's also weird, right? I'm like, we need church friends, couples, you know, people that have kids or not, whatever, maybe our age, it doesn't really matter. I've always been friends with people who are like older than me, and I don't know why. I think that's just a maturity thing, but I've always gotten along a lot better with older people. Maybe that's just because the younger crew is like draining or too immature or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I was like, we need couple friends. And sure enough, we prayed about it and we got a couple friends. I've been going through the OCIA program. She's been doing it as well. She's already a Catholic though, so she doesn't really need to be doing this, but she's going through it to learn more and to help me along the way. It's been going good, and we got a sponsor or I have a sponsor. He's a Baptist guy turned Catholic. I was also raised Baptist. And there's him and his wife are going to be our marriage prep counselor people. So that's cool too. So we got 2 sponsors, same guy, cool dude. And I think it's going to go great. So we even have a wedding venue picked out already, as well as I already have a ring. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's weird because everything I do really has a reason. And her and I went to go check out the ring together and be like, I want you to have what you want. I don't want to just get something you don't like and then like, well, it's past 30 days, so you can't exchange it. Like, and she doesn't really like to be surprised anyway. So it's kind of like, well, rather you just kind of know what you're getting versus not. And so we did it that way. We just read a story on Facebook, actually, that somebody went out and bought a ring and didn't even consult her friends, her, or anybody, and she doesn't like it at all. And so I didn't want to be in that boat. So everything I do really does have a reason, and I've got like a backing behind it. But, in relationships, I used to be a relationship coach here on YouTube many years ago. Even though I wasn't that great at them, I was always very curious, and I would always go and try to understand what would go on like first dates and what people would say, how their body language were. It was just very interesting to me, all those social dynamics. And through that's where the gym came in to help me develop into who I am today. But yeah, it's just been fun, just learning all those things. But guys, yeah, if you're feeling like a weak man in a way, and I'm just gonna say it, you got to get in the gym. Maybe you've been to the gym, you know what to do, but you're stuck in a rut. Sometimes I feel that way. I started having Whole Foods, okay, and okay, people are like, okay, Whole Foods, does that mean like the store? No, it just means I started cooking salmon for the first time ever yesterday. I started cooking, it was Wagyu beef. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It was like a sirloin steak today. I want to start having some real food. I'm tired of all this processed stuff. I told her, my girl, I was like, look, we're going to start cooking real stuff on the grill again. We're going to start eating better, And I get it. We were on travel. There was like birthdays and stuff. And every weekend we're busy doing something. I get it. I do. But I'm not happy with how I look in the mirror. Today I actually really was. But weighing in at like 205 and just feeling soft and like not really knowing what I'm doing on my workout program is not the way I want to be. And I tell you what, my room was a mess. Like the house wasn't cleaned up correctly because it's just been on the run all the time. And I get it. I've got a lot of grace. And guys, with love comes a lot of sacrifice. I was supposed to shave my beard today, but she wanted to go over to confession. So what I went ahead and did was I drove her over there in the rain. She doesn't like driving in the rain. And she wasn't able to get in because they were like booked up or whatever. There was a lot of people in there. But I sacrificed something I wanted to do and really needed to do was to shave for that. But I also know that I can do it again, like I can shave later, and I'm not upset about it. I think that's where a lot of like resentment comes from people is like, well, I was wanting to do this, but I didn't even get to do it because I had to do your thing. And I think to me, there's like a piece, and I'm a very flexible person. I just always say, don't ask me to do the splits because I'll probably break something. But I just try to do my best to come out of a place of love and passion, or not love and patience with everything I do. And I think the cats, when I had cats, taught me that a lot, because I was not a patient person, guys. I was not somebody who had a lot of empathy towards a lot of people. Really, it was just kind of like go, go, go. And I think the Lord really did change me on that, and I asked him to, because it was always just about the next thing. So, but yeah, the workout program I'm doing now is focused more on upper. So I really want to get my traps back. And guys, the best part about it is your muscles literally have mind-muscle connection. So when you're thinking about, I'm going to hold the squeeze and let go, and I'm going to do a trap and I'm going to let go. Those kind of things are amazing, because you're literally building the neurological connection between your muscle and your brain, and you're going to start seeing growth. And also remember that your muscle has memory. So like if you've lost it, but you've been in the gym before, you can get it back pretty easily. Just start eating right, and everyone says, oh, start eating right. If you want to have a body that you're proud of, if you want to have the life you're proud of, and stop feeling like you're in a rut, stop feeling that you're skinny fat, that you were fat or skinny, all those things that come with it, you're going to have to make a sacrifice. And a lot of that comes down to, what am I eating? And, sometimes I like to say on here that, well, I can have candy and all these other things, but that's too far this way. Sometimes you have to make sure everything is balanced and checked. I'm not saying don't ever have candy. I just had a bundt cake. Have you ever had the nothing bundt cakes? Yeah, I had a whole one of those like an hour ago, after having the steak and some French fries we air fried. Okay, so I'm not saying, oh, I'm a saint or whatever. That's not the point. I'm just saying you can't just overindulge and eat in bad food or whatever and just assume that you're going to have a good physique. And when I noticed that in the mirror, I made an immediate change. And so I felt amazing over the last 2 days, just having fish and steak. And we've been on the move, so I've been tired, but my brain just feels a little bit more like at ease. And maybe it's placebo, I don't know, but it's been good. So I'm focusing on the upper, and the new program is like 5 days, 1 day's legs, okay, and high intensity legs. That's actually going to be tomorrow's day. But yeah, I'm excited for the arms, and I just want to be able to fill up the glycogen stores so that the muscle looks and feels full. I was looking at myself in the mirror at the gym yesterday, and it looked amazing. So I feel pretty good. Lose a little bit of the tummy, just a tad, and that comes through walking. Okay, so all my steps, try to get at least 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. That could be through running, that could be through incline walk. If you want to listen to, let's say, a sermon or something, that's what I like to do sometimes. I do my best thinking on the stairs, though. I don't know why that is. I just do. So it's been pretty good. Anyway, boys, thanks for listening. If you made it this far, holy cow. Almost lost the phone there. And I'll see you in the next video, in a world full of fakeness and deception. Keep dominating your realities.